Hello, hello, greetings from very hot Portugal in the south of Europe. Do you think that your resume is still being something truly important to get that job, to be in front of the others? Okay, if you think so, you're in the right place. Soon, David will teach you, will tell you amazing tips and insights to come ahead the other appliance to get that job. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, hello, good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever you are. If you are watching us live now or the replay, please let us know where you are. Wait, how are you there? If you still locked down at home or if you are traveling around the street, let us know. Well, today I have another truly special guest, David Alto, which means in Portuguese, Alto means high. I don't know, David, if you know it.
I did. It means tall and stop also.
Yeah, right. So let me bring you to the screen. There you go. Yeah. It's how you say Alto, stop.
So, yeah, if you go to Mexico, my name's all over the place because it's on the stop signs.
Absolutely. So David, thanks a lot to be here. It's a pleasure. It's even though today we have so many platforms to shine, to stay ahead of the others, to be like more shiny to the recruiters. I think resume still being something important, or at least to take care of. So first thing I have to ask you is to introduce yourself, and then let's talk a little bit about this. Could it be, please?
Sure. Thank you for having me on the show. And by the way, the music in the introduction, I was continuing to rock out for a while. So good choice of music. My name is David Alto. I guess you could say CEO. I'm a team of one, so CEO probably ain't the best terminology, but my company, Alto Advanced, what we really specialize in is getting people's resume past those evil darn resume scanning cyborgs, robots, bots, whatever you want to call them, the ATS. But we do career coaching, interview prep, resume, LinkedIn profile as well too, because that goes hand in hand with an amazing resume. So, overall, that's a little bit about what I do.
Perfect. I don't know, David, because I had that nightmare when I finished my graduation, which was, I don't know if you ever heard about something really, really, truly, deeply nice here in Europe, which is the Europass resume style, which is
yes, I've seen it. Yes, I've seen them before.
Oh my God, it was so freaking awful. So I think one of the first things that you should have in mind when you're building the resume is to get away from these standardized resumes, which never mind. For instance, one thing I saw, and for me it was, oh my God, this is not true. A designer, he had a website. Yeah, absolutely. Download my CV, and then I made it, and I was expecting something really nice, good looking, and I saw, and I said, oh my God, really?
No, there's look, I love the ones, and I'm being very sarcastic. The one pager that has your picture, that has a bunch of graphs, that has a bunch of metrics, and really it looks pretty, right? And I wish we could use resumes like that, but you can't. Again, they look pretty. If you could hand somebody, fantastic. But because hundreds of people are applying for the same jobs, hundreds, not one, two, 600 people are applying for the same jobs, you have to have a resume that will get past the screening, the ATS, applicant tracking software. Companies use it because they have to. They get so many applicants. And what it does is it looks for keywords. And then if you have enough keywords, you get past the software and potentially in the hands of somebody in HR to potentially call you. I subscribe to some of the same scanning software as the companies do, which allows me to put the finishing touches on a resume and help my clients even after the fact make sure that that resume is going to align for each of the jobs that they apply for. And it's usually just tweaking it ever so slightly. But the problem is if you don't, you're using the same resume and applying for hundreds of jobs, and then you get nothing, or you get only those rejection emails. And then you get frustrated because maybe you paid somebody to do your resume. Because most coaches, believe it or not, do not subscribe to some of the same resume scanning software. They don't want to do it, or they don't care. I care because it's not about just having a great resume anymore. And I learned that the hard way about a year plus ago when I was still searching for maybe a different career before I started doing this full time.
So, as usual, knowing your customer, it's critical.
Yes.
So, which I think that there's some, even though things are changing a lot, and lately they changed a lot. I think there's too many mistakes that maybe they are a little bit 20th century. I mean, and one you mentioned, which is I have this resume. It doesn't matter if I'm applying. I'm applying to, I don't know, a customer service or a market research company. I will send the same email. What do you recommend for someone who's looking for a job right now?
Okay.
What he or she should search and pay attention to build the right resume?
Okay. Well, your resume, I'll give you some free tips. Your resume should include the job description. So your name. Now I'm going to talk about only US resumes just for the moment. Your name, no address, city and state that you live in, email address, maybe your URL for your LinkedIn, if your LinkedIn is spot on. No hyperlinks, please. No PDF. Send it in Word doc only. The resume scanning software dislikes and has a hard time scanning PDFs. Again, no hyperlinks, because if they print it, you can't hyperlink a piece of paper. So no hyperlinks. And then maybe the title of that job, because that scanning software is kind of looking for that job title. And when they print it, make it easy on them. Know what position that you're applying for, okay? And then maybe a brief summary, go right into your work experience, and then put month and year, please. Resume scanning software expects it. When you apply online, you're going to need to anyway. And then education down at the bottom. Now, a lot of people yell at me, Dave, no, I want to promote my education up top. Maybe in some medical industries and some positions, but to be honest, at the bottom, and then maybe a list of competencies, really a big core of competencies that get your keywords, some keywords that get past, the resume scanning software, and then metrics, accomplishments for each of the jobs. You got to have those. And, again, it's slowing down when you create, and I've seen plenty of people create their own, and maybe I just give them some tidbits, advice, some free tips. But then again, it's, do you have a great, amazing LinkedIn profile as well?
So maybe we can talk also about this because I think too much people still thinking that LinkedIn is just a kind of online resume, right?
Yes. No, it can be so much more than that. I mean, now when I got on LinkedIn, that's what I thought it was too, just like everybody else, but it's a great way to connect. So much B2B happens, business to business, B2C even occasionally. I know if I'm looking for, I was looking for a new website designer. I was looking for a virtual assistant. Where did I go? I just spread the word. I made a post on LinkedIn, waited for everybody to comment, interviewed a few, and there you go. So LinkedIn is more than that. It's also a place for you to share industry best practices. We're all a subject matter expert at something. Share it. You'll learn something new. You'll help somebody else. So yeah, LinkedIn is just not the platform anymore for just only recruiters and people, posting. You can make so many different relationships. I think you and I were drinking last week or 2 weeks ago together, virtually where we met. So again, and then now, we obviously have, video that we can do and talk to people halfway around the world. So LinkedIn is an amazing place to meet amazing people.
Absolutely. One thing, I'm here. Well, there's also so many questions coming to my head because one thing people used to think, and we are now again in a time it's really challenging about this. Oh, I'm working. I have my job, a safe job.
Yeah.
Why should I matter? Working on LinkedIn, networking, creating or sharing content. Why should I take look at my resume? Doesn't matter. I'm working. Stay away from
right.
me.
That's right. So, okay. Now we know a lot of jobs were impacted over the last, 3, 4, 5 months, right? So if you're a planner, you have your resume ready for, what if, right? You always, okay, why do we save for retirement? Why do we save money, right? We save it for later. You got to have that resume ready. So I'm on LinkedIn building, relationships because maybe it doesn't, we don't strike up any deal or partnership now, but you never know what advice and whatever. So again, you plan for things, to potentially change. I do have clients that do say, Dave, I think I'll wait a little bit until I might need. But to be honest, most of my clients all have jobs. Maybe they work, an individual that I just helped. He works at Boeing, one of the world's largest companies, and obviously the maker of so many airplanes and other space related projects and stuff. But they're going to be laying off a bunch of people in June. Well, I had a client that says I may or may not be one of them, but I'm going to get my stuff together now. The lights went out. Okay. I forgot to pay the bill. It'll come back on. Okay.
It's
yeah, go
okay.
So the one thing that I wanted to share is this. Here's some things that you can do on LinkedIn now. So this is easy. If there's companies that you want to work for, okay, but they do not have any jobs posted, this is what you do. You go onto LinkedIn, you go into the search bar, you click inside it, drops down, you click people, then you click companies, type the name of the company, click in the search bar again, the LinkedIn search bar, you type the title of the position you're looking for, okay? And then you connect with people that are doing that same job in that same industry. Let's just be random real for a quick second. Project manager at Amazon. Search people, company, Amazon, go back into the search, click that, and then you type project manager, and then guess what? Connect with project managers. And maybe you say something like this. Hey, the reason I was connected with you, Amazon's on my short list of companies to potentially work for someday. hoping you could share a little bit of your industry insights and maybe your time in the position, with Amazon. Thank you very much. They respond to you, and then maybe you say something like this. Hey, thank you for all that detailed information, Marco. Hey, there was if there were a position become available as a project manager with Amazon, do you think my LinkedIn profile, sells, highlights what I've done? And you know what? Because who knows transferable skills better than the person actually doing the job? This is a great best practice. If you see a job that you want to apply for before applying, doing this, and I tell you what, I always coach my clients on doing this. And now is a great time. Find those, little few companies that you might potentially want to work for. Maybe there's not a position available currently. People, company, position, reach out to people doing that job now, because there's companies that give out referral bonuses. Who couldn't use an extra $500 to a couple $1,000, for a referral bonus right now? And people genuinely on LinkedIn are very giving. So the people that do reply, those are the people that you want in your corner. And that's what you need to do on a regular basis. Even if you're looking for a job, or in this downtime of maybe there's not enough jobs posted right now.
Absolutely. Well, because for instance, yesterday I was in a call with a friend of mine, which is our Portuguese guru on LinkedIn. And we were talking about those knockers who just remember about you when they need.
Yes.
Look, David. Oh, and look, and you say, once he or she is knocking at your door, okay, he doesn't have job, he needs me. Otherwise, he doesn't knock. So that it's important, this connection nurturing, even before you may need them. Because
yes.
One thing you can do also is to reframe your kind of work, or at least to focus in which skills you need, which kind of content you should focus on, and everything, right?
Oh, yes. The one thing that, everybody hates is, somebody messaging you on LinkedIn and saying, hi, can you help me? Here's my resume, right? So again, yes, you nurture relationships just like you do anything else, right? If you're dating somebody, you don't go and say, hey, will you marry me the same day, right? Well, maybe you do. We'll see how that goes for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, you nurture it, right? It's the same thing that you do on LinkedIn. You don't build for today. You build for the future. And that's a great way to build relationships too, on LinkedIn, well, on anywhere, right? You don't automatically meet somebody and say, here's my resume, right, at a party. No, you don't, even though you might have it. Again, you build it over time. That's why I hate those posts of those people, hey, let's grow, 1,000 followers in a day. Why? I have a lot of followers, but that's because I'm active. People like the content, like the silly content I put out there, so they follow me. But you build it over time.
Absolutely. That's the point. And I think, for instance, I just started really working on LinkedIn since December, because they gave me, and it was kind of a promise I made to my friend. We on a live show, he was my guest, and we were talking about LinkedIn Live, and I made that promise. Look, I know I have a ghost profile on LinkedIn, but when they give me the availability to go live, I will change it. And I had I didn't have 1,000 contacts when they in December, and now I have 4,500, something like that. So
that's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
And I start because engagement you get after building content, sharing content, engagement. I think, I don't know, because American people are different than at least Portuguese. We are really, it's hard to get a comment usually from a Portuguese. They could be, I think the lurker it's a Portuguese. If you have 10 lurkers, 5 are Portuguese for sure.
No, listen, yeah, no, I get it. And, different areas. And yes, in the US, maybe we need to slow down a little bit and be a little bit more of a lurker, maybe a little bit, but.
because I think when you're starting something, and mostly on LinkedIn, because I think it's the office thing. Facebook is good, but it's a kind of a bar or something. Instagram, it's a restaurant or a hotel's lobby. Doesn't matter. But LinkedIn, it's the place to do business. Okay. So I think one of the things because it's not easy to come with content at first. Okay. I think you also know, David, when you're in the content business, you know how hard it is to give that first step, because you will stay very vulnerable, and you will feel that everybody's looking at you at that moment. So don't you think that people underrate the power of the comments on the posts?
Yes, I mean, so most authors, so the person that is doing the post, they post because they want comments. Now, I'm not worried about views. I want comments. I want engagement. Why? Because I might learn something from my post. Or maybe I'm putting a question out there, or maybe I need maybe I do have a serious question that I'm trying to get answered. But yes, we want different people's opinion from all over the globe. Because again, we want that engagement. I wish the like button wasn't there. That doesn't do anything for me. If I get 500 likes on a post, but 2 comments, okay, it's irrelevant how many people like it. So again, it is about the actual comment. We want that comment, and I think that's how I got started with LinkedIn. Is I was commenting on things that I found relevant. I posted my first video January 24th, 2019. How do I know that day? I turned 50 that day, and I posted a video on LinkedIn. And what did I talk about? I talked about retirement. Not me retiring, but how to save for retirement. And not that I'm a financial guru, but it's something that I know a few things about. But anyway, that was my first video. So it was just to kind of break me out of my shell. And I think that, we worry about, how our hair looks, right? Well, I don't, but we worry about how our hair looks, how we're going to sound, right? I don't edit my videos. So if I screw up, I either stop or I collect my thoughts and keep going. Why? Because I learned a long time ago that when I did 70 straight days of doing video, I did this 30-day challenge of doing 30 straight days, and I made it to 70. But I learned that, again, nobody cares if something's a mess in your backyard or in your house, or they hear a car honk or whatever. It is literally about the content. So you don't just say, I'll do it when this, I'll do it when this. I hear that all the time. I'll do it when this finally. No, just get your cellular phone out, turn it sideways, and shoot video. No, not up and down, sideways.
Yeah,
I learned that a long time ago.
Me too.
But look, we all started, I didn't start with 29,000 followers. I have 15,000 connections, 29,000 followers. I didn't start off with that, okay? I learned from so many others that either saw me struggling or I just asked for advice. Somebody, I didn't care. I thought these people were, influencers. I just message them. I just say, I have a question, and a couple of them would answer. So again, LinkedIn is a very giving platform, and you don't know what you don't know until you just go and do it. And that's what you need to do. So, and I'm a little butthurt that you got LinkedIn Live. I've applied 4 times. They don't like it. You obviously know what you're doing, and they know that not to give me LinkedIn Live. So
hopefully they will give you soon.
They're never going to give it to me. That's okay. It's more of the chase.
Yeah, but it's an amazing platform, of course, because I have the same mindset as you. I don't like to edit video. I'm really lazy about it because that's why people ask me, oh, so why you go live? Because one thing on live stream is that almost the producing time is 100% useful content. Because, for instance, if you want to record a video 5 minutes, you'll spend half an hour at least, because
Yes.
you have to repeat, you have to cut, you have to edit, or everything.
Yes.
Live video, introduction, content, wrap up, goodbye. That's it.
Nobody expects you to be perfect. Why? It's live.
Absolutely. And even the recorded videos, people ask me, that's the thing about this. You talked about the cocktail we met. A big shout out to Marcelo, this amazing guy. And one thing also, I think it's important when even though, and here in Portugal, we take that business thing of LinkedIn too serious. It's we see business in a really gray way and not as a human thing. And you talk about, connection, and I think I don't have any business thing in mind when I started connecting with Marcelo. He's on the recycling business. I don't think that I will buy something from him, or he will buy.
He's a glorified garbage man, right?
and I think I met you, Chris, and every other people, and I don't know about you, but I think it's the same. Maybe business will happen someday, maybe, but we share so much things, information, and I think it's important to have this in mind. Not too businessy, but more connection and learning and sharing, and of course something that brings some value, even though it's something that little, but it's important. Don't?
Oh yes, you're absolutely right. Now, and I do think, from time to time, it is okay for you to share something not business related. Why? Because maybe you're not on Facebook anymore, and you still want that. Maybe a dog picture, cute little dog video once in a while. But that's okay. And that's okay. LinkedIn, you can watch what you want to watch or don't. I did have a potential client one time not hire me because they saw my videos, and even though it wasn't very informative and they thought I knew what I was talking about, he couldn't get over the fact that I wasn't suited up in my videos. Didn't have my shirt and tie on. Well, because I left that career, I don't need a tie to write a resume. So again, it's the combination of business, but again, doesn't have to be all that serious, like you were saying. It just doesn't have to be, because business isn't all that serious all the time either. Again, there's a place and time for it, but you just need to be yourself and be genuine. There will be people that love that and people that don't, and there's plenty of people to go around. Almost 700 million people here on LinkedIn, so you're going to find your audience.
Absolutely. And another thing came to my mind, which is important when we are talking about appliance to a job, which is, and you talk about this, and it comes to my mind, because there's that thing that we should also, as an appliant, to know if that company is a fit for me. And if you can connect with someone who's working on that company, who may help you look, the culture of the company, our DNA is like this, and then you can understand, because there's something when even as a company to see if you are a good customer for me or not, is to see and to avoid that customer who is not for me, because we have that also. We should be aware of that. Don't you think it's another useful thing that you can get on LinkedIn about this?
Oh yes, I mean, what if you get a hold of that project manager with Amazon, and they tell you some things about the job, and then you go, wait a minute, I already know that about me, so I don't think maybe that's a good fit for me. So yes, and that's okay. Or if somebody says, hey, do you have these skills? Well, that might not be a good fit. Again, yes, you got to do your homework. I mean, we invest so much time and energy into our careers. If you're in the search, if you're searching for a new career, please don't worry much about the job and the paycheck and the benefits and the pay. Worry about if you're going to be a good fit and they're a good, and vice versa. Again, I think we really have to. And let's face it, companies know what they're kind of looking for in individuals now. I mean, they do, especially a lot of the big companies, Amazon. I hear some good things and then I hear some bad things because the culture is different. Again, maybe not what you're used to in different organizations. So you have to do your homework and not just apply for job and just say, well, any job's going to do for me. So you're not going to be happy that way.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about something really important when you're, okay, you went through the resume choice and now it's the interview time.
Oh boy. So interview time. I can tell you what, they'll structure some questions generally. If you've given them some accomplishments, if you've given them some bullet points of some accomplishments and metrics, they'll really hand feed you answers. They will. The typical company, maybe 6 to 8, 10 questions. If you're applying for Amazon, I keep on bringing Amazon up, only because I applied it for Amazon one time. That was a brutal interview, by the way. They ask a lot of questions. But anyway, they hand feed you answers. They do. If you think of your answers as stories, think about that time that you had that project or something, right? How'd you accomplish it? How'd you start it? What did you do to gather resources? Did you get somebody involved? And even if it didn't end up 100% the way you wanted, you talk about what you learned and gained from that experience. Because just because maybe you didn't reach that milestone in that project or whatever, right? But again, you want it to be fluid, okay? When you show emotion during an interview, it's because you're passionate and you care, and generally because you're not a good liar. It's because it's the truth. Okay, unless you're a good actor. I am not. But when you raise your voice, when you're smiling, when you're answering, almost like I'm doing now because I'm watching myself, right? You can see that passion in people. So all you got to do is think of your answers as stories. Have about 8 or 9 of them. Practice with somebody. Could be a buddy on LinkedIn, right? Because you can't go to nobody's house no more, right? Or at least I can't where I'm located in United States. We're still quarantined. But again, practice with a loved one or somebody. But again, it's just genuinely telling about a story. And that story will probably relate to a bunch of different questions that they ask you. And when you do that, you're less nervous. Oh, one thing before I forget, within 24 hours of an interview, no caffeine.
Oh.
I'm serious. No caffeine within 24 hours of you doing an interview. And that is coffee, whatever type of caffeine fix you get within 24 hours. Do not. Your brain will actually work faster than your mouth. And sometimes that's not, I'm caffeinated all the time. I wake up caffeinated, it seems like. So caffeine for me just makes me, but I'm serious. Yeah, no caffeine 24 hours before interview. You can get your caffeine fix right after that. So.
And another thing, and here in Portugal, we have that problem. The hierarchies are something that distancing between the employee and the employer. It's something in Latin countries. It's even more. You can see that. Okay. And one thing that people are truly scared to make questions to them, because and also to challenge them, because I one of the things I'm always saying is, for instance, one thing: oh, I want to work here because I want to learn, because you are really good. And I used to say to people who think like that, look, you were on the school, on the college to learn. You don't go to a job to learn. Of course, you learn. We learn all the time. Oh, come on.
Yes.
But don't go with that mindset, because they don't want you to learn. They want you to fix problems.
Yes. Oh, and that on the questions, when I did a lot of interviews way back in the, I mean, I did for a long time. When you come with questions, it shows that you want the job. Come with questions and ask them if you can take notes. So, hey, thank you, Marco. Hey, before I get started in the interview process, Marco, is it okay for me to jot down some notes as we're, during the interview process today? They like that. Why? Again, it shows that you want that job. You might want to write down some notes, and that's a good time to write down the names of the people that are interviewing you, especially if it's more than a few, because you're going to forget, because you're going to get nervous.
Absolutely.
No matter how prepared you are. So that gives you permission to write down their name, write down whatever, but ask to take notes, ask them some questions, even if they answered them, come up with some, questions about the position. Don't automatically go towards, well, what do I do to take your job? You want to maybe ease into that. What type of, do you have any, mentoring programs or anything like that? You could ask that. But again, come with some really good questions, some solid questions. Again, tell stories, ask if you're allowed to take some notes. They'll always say yes.
Absolutely.
I guess unless it's some top secret job, then no.
Yeah, they will kill you.
You'd have to eat them. You have to eat your notes.
So, and after that, because there's another problem, the follow-up, because most of the times, and it happens also when you send in the resume stage. Okay, let me send, and then, oh, I'm so disappointed, because I think one of the problems of these times is that we think that things happen too fast, and they should happen fast every time. I mean, I'm hitting the button, send email, and I'm waiting to get the job offer the very next moment.
No, you're right.
And we think that the first day we start working in the company, we will reach the VC place.
Yeah, no. Listen, I really, when you after you apply, I want you to forget about it. You move on to the next one. Maybe you do some research and wait. I do have a lot of clients that have said, well, I'm going to wait until this one job contacts me before applying for others. And I'm like, well, they may never reply to you. Okay, they have hundreds and hundreds of people. You may never hear from them one reason, or from one way or not. You may interview and never ever receive a call. Well, unless it's to hire you, but you may. I'm just letting you know. So you could follow through. You could ask a recruiter, or a lot of times the recruiter will say, hey, within 3 or 4 days, we will at least reach out to you with an email to tell you the next steps. You can always ask in advance what the next steps are. But again, not every company, not every hiring manager, not every HR department is going to reach back out to you even after an interview. It's just not realistic for you to always receive that that email or that message. So you can't dwell on it.
But you can, right? I mean, you take note of the name of the person.
That's right.
And it's important to do that follow-up, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, there's no reason that you can't ask that recruiter. I wasn't provided, an email address for the people that interviewed me. Would it be possible to at least to get that so I could, send them a response, or ask for it in advance from that recruiter. That recruiter, if on your side, prior to the interview or after the interview, should be able to provide that, or might forward it to you. Maybe they don't want you to have their contact information or whatever. But it doesn't hurt to ask, because again, that just reassures everybody that you do, in fact, you're not just going through the motions of doing an interview. You want this job. So,
here we used to say that you can lose the business right now, but don't lose the customer. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, maybe you lose the job now, but at least you left there a good impression, which is also really important.
Yes. So listen, the smart hiring managers, the smart HR individuals, if they interviewed 5 people and 2 of them were fantastic and they can only hire 1, they're going to keep that other person on a short leash, meaning maybe every month or 2 they follow up, back up, maybe say, oh, I applied for a position. Hey, David, I know you're probably, disappointed that you didn't get this role, but we foresee us potentially hiring again in the next 6 months for an additional position. We hope that we could reach out to you and contact you. There are employers out there like that. I used to be one of those types of hiring managers. I would keep everybody that I thought I could have hired, but I only chose 1. And every so often I would follow up with that individual or say, hey, I'm getting ready to open up a rec. Are you still interested? Because if so, I'll just open it up. You'll apply. I'll close it. I'll hire you. I've done that, but that's few and far between. But there are people, like I said, there are HR, there are hiring managers out there that do that, and you never know. So make that good impression, even if you didn't get the job. Thank them for their time.
Absolutely, because as you said, if they are not like that, no problem. Absolutely. If they are, perfect.
It is, yes. You never know. Just like we talked about LinkedIn. Okay, we're not building relationships for now. We're building relationships for the future. Same thing. Maybe a better position would become available with that company. So again, keep those avenues open. Maybe you're able to connect with them on LinkedIn, afterwards. So,
well, we are coming to the end. There's something I need to ask you. Do you see sometimes the candidates struggling or cursing because there's some kind of skills the companies ask that they don't have? I will explain you this question because it was a nonsense episode I faced. When I was finishing my college degree, I was also in the, I don't know, we have a students association, which is a group who helps the students in many ways. And so we were there working, and there was another girl, which was, her degree was international affairs. Okay. And she was looking to job offers, and she was cursing. Oh my God, they all ask English. And I thought to myself, I didn't say anything because I was scared she may kill me. So you want to make a career in affairs, international affairs, and you just want to talk Portuguese.
Yeah, no. So, well, international just in Portugal.
Oh, of course, maybe Brazil and Paris.
So listen, sometimes people apply for jobs they have no reason to apply for. I mean, they just, I do hear for this from clients is, maybe they'll give me a chance. Nobody's going to give you a chance. Okay. You either meet that criteria or not. But listen, I would say that there's one skill. If you're in your 40s and your 50s and you have a very good track record of work history, and if it requires a degree, this job that you're applying for, but you don't have the degree, but you match up 100% to everything else, apply for the job anyway. A lot of companies will put that, again, just so less people apply and only, quality candidates. But that degree from 20 plus years ago is really not that relevant anymore if you have that work history. So I do run into that with clients that get jobs and still says degree required. But listen, you do really have to ask yourself, and don't kid yourself, can you do everything in that job? And if there are some skills that you just don't have, that job may not be a good fit for you. You really have to check your ego. You do. And apply, not for hundreds of jobs and hope somebody, you know what, I'll just apply for 5,000 jobs and somebody will give me a chance. Again, if you don't meet enough of the skills, nobody's going to give you a chance because they're not going to chance their company with
Absolutely.
your lack of skills. So again, check your ego, make sure that you do align, but not all those skills. Some are suggested, and again, and rightfully so. But again, make sure you're applying for jobs that, and yeah, if you're in, maybe she should learn some English if she wants.
Absolutely, because I don't conceive that. Okay, let me write down the profile of someone to apply. Okay, let me screw that, guys. Okay, let me put. They need to talk English just to bother them.
Yeah, no, right? There's a reason.
Because they need, of course, it's what they need.
Yeah, I am not going to apply to be an attorney just because I watch, Law and
CSI.
Order. Yeah, CSI. I've watched them all. So, right. Again, we can't kid ourselves. We do have to really seriously. I know there's plenty of people out there that, if they only give me a chance, and I have to bring them back in. I have to reel them back in and say, client, listen, I want you to really look at the big picture. Can you really do, all of this job? Because if not, there are plenty of people that will. You're just going to disappoint yourself because you're not going to get it. And I have to tell people that, then they thank me for it. But they, tough love, and it doesn't feel good in the beginning to say that, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I've seen lots of people, and I think that's another profile very usual by these days, which is the constant learning without implementing, without practicing. Because I see so many people. Marco, they reach me out just to ask me, do you recommend any course? And I say, stop coursing and start doing.
You're right. I mean, just because I took 10 courses in something does not make me a professional in that. It gives me some insight, but yes, do it.
And
that was a perfect analogy, Marco.
And I think we are from another generation, which was, we didn't have any option to make a blog, to shine on social media and everything. No. Now they have everything. Okay, if you are a chemical engineer, it's hard to make a blog about it and to show because you need a lab. Okay, but 70% of people of works, you can start by creating content with a low budget, at least by yourself, showing people that you're the right solution or at least they may have you in count.
Yeah, no, again, we're all a subject matter expert about something. That's what you need to post about. I don't care if you don't have a degree. There's oftentimes I talk about finances, and just because I've learned things over the years that I enjoy sharing. So again, you're a subject matter expert about something. That's what you should post about. I don't care if you got a degree in it or not.
Absolutely. Well, David, we are coming to the end. some ideas, some suggestions that people should take in mind when they start the appliance process?
Sure. Again, really, maybe only two places to look, at least here in the US. That's Indeed and LinkedIn for jobs. Don't do daily job search. Get them searching every week because the rest will drive you crazy. And slow down. It's not about applying for 300 jobs. I'd rather you slow down and apply for 20. Look for that job. Look for those keywords in that job description. Print it out. Look for words that show up multiple times. Look for key industry words. Put them in there. If you have to hire somebody, that's fine, but a lot of people can do it themselves if they already have a great resume. But you need to slow down. It's not about applying for 300 jobs. It's about slowing down and tailoring. And it's about building relationships, like we've already said, when you have that job.
Absolutely.
There's never a time to slow down networking.
Absolutely.
It's too much, and it's fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not, it doesn't have to be boring.
Absolutely. In a cocktail, for instance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Well, a Thursday we might have some cocktails.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to make some franchise here in Portugal because I love the concept, and I think as we are seeing, it has potential even in business matters, of course. So, David, now I have the suggestions time, which is a professional that you think it's good for us to follow, a book you read and also interesting, a habit you have, a tool, okay, a movie, and a series.
All right.
Okay.
Corey Warfield on LinkedIn.
Professional. Okay.
Oh yes. What was the next one?
Book.
Book. That's easy. The seven Habits of Highly Effective People, but the audio version.
Oh. Do you like podcasts and audiobooks?
Audiobooks, yes. I used to travel a lot for work, and by car, and audiobook, CD or whatever, audiobook, and especially when it's the author that's actually narrating it, because you get to hear, and it feels better for me. It just does. Yeah, but Seven Habits, and it's an old book. The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, audio version though.
And talking about habits, a habit you have?
You know what? I wake up with energy. I eat right. I exercise right, even though I can't go to the gym right now, so I'm working out at home. But the exercise really does just as much for my physique and my muscles as it does from here. Working out in the morning makes my day just go by that amazing. So that is my one discipline, my one vice that I really enjoy, that the coronavirus has taken away.
Absolutely perfect. A tool.
I say it's resources. It's people. Okay, my tool is asking people questions.
Okay, perfect. It's good. I love when my guests pull the fence and then come with new ideas. It's amazing, because sometimes we are too strict to real tools, and we forget these so amazing tools, which are networking, connecting with people. It's perfect. A movie.
Oh, I guess you could say The Princess Bride.
I don't know which one is that.
All right, let me think of another movie. Any Star Wars movie.
Okay.
Any of them.
Perfect. And a series.
And a what? What is that?
Series, like War of Thrones.
Oh, a series?
Yeah.
Yeah, Game of. No, I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones. For me, it's always got to be a comedy.
Okay, I'm on that.
Like Big Bang Theory. just any type of comedy. I want a quick comedy.
Perfect. Well, David, we come to the end.
All right.
Truly, thank you. It was an amazing time, really insightful. So, how can people search for you on the internet?
Sure. Right now, best place to find me is on LinkedIn because I'm on there all the time. Soon enough, I will have my new website up. Please don't visit it now.
Please get away.
Get away. And that's not. I'm not like subliminally making people go. Just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very approachable. I post daily, and but only connect with me on LinkedIn if you are going to be active and comment. So.
Okay, perfect. So, David, thank you a lot. It was a pleasure. It was really, as I was expecting, a really insightful conversation. Hopefully, we will meet Thursday night for me.
Yeah, what time is that for you?
Right now, 10:30 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. See, for me, I'll be drinking early. The show is at what time? 3. Yeah, I think it's at 6:30 p.m. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3:30 my time, so I guess I can drink at 3 in the afternoon. In the afternoon.
Last week, when it finished, I think it was. I'm not sure if it was 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. for me.
Yeah,
Oh my God! It was a marathon, a huge marathon. It was amazing. Well, time to wrap up. To everybody who's watching us, thank you. Please, if you are looking the replay, let us know. Send some comments, some questions to David so he can answer. Okay. So wish you a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, wherever you are, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye, Marco.